kind of book. Welcome to another episode of the Supper Club. The Supper Club brought to you by Kuna Food Service, a family-owned tradition since 1918. The Pasta House Company Restaurants. Lordo's Diamonds, your family jeweler for life. Oliva on the Hill. Barquette Realty, nationwide real estate investor. And Fresta Limoncello. Keep sipping, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Supper Club. I'm Joe Fresta, your host, brought to you by Kuna Food Service. We're here with a very special friend, guest, Jim Montgomery, otherwise known as Monty, new coach of the St. Louis Blues. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Joe, thanks. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. You know, I didn't know you were born in 1969 in Montreal, Quebec. I never knew you were from Montreal. I knew you were from Canada, but I didn't know you were from Montreal.
Well, Joe, you and I were too busy working out DMAC and, talking about deals.
That's, right. And you don't have that French-Canadian accent.
Well, my mother tongue, Montgomery, is English.
Yeah.
But, growing up in the city of Montreal, which is 70% French,
right.
That enabled me to be bilingual.
Right. Okay, so you of course, you had to be.
Je parle très bien.
Yeah. Growing up in Montreal, you had to be a huge Habs fan, right? Who were some of the guys that you looked up to, liked to watch? Did you get to go to the Forum and watch?
Yeah, going to the Forum
games?
was a special treat. It was maybe once, max 2 times a year.
Right.
Dad would get company tickets of some sort handed down. But Guy Lafleur, Larry Robinson, Ken Dryden, there's so many players, Bob Gainey.
Yeah.
They won 4 cups in a row from the time I was 5 to 9.
Yeah.
So those guys are my heroes.
Those 70s teams were just fabulous. I mean, Yvon Cornwallier.
They had everything.
Andre Richard, he holds the record, I think, for the most cups
he does.
As a player.
11.
11, yeah. He's got one for his toe.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that had to be really special. And I know those tickets they're hereditary. You can't just go buy season tickets. They're handed down from generation to generation, correct?
Yeah, and I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that Scotty Bowman was the head coach of those teams. A great Blue and a great Canadian,
right.
And obviously the most Stanley Cups of any head coach, and
Sure.
someone who's been a mentor of mine. And when I did get the job with the Blues, he called and we spoke about how special it is to be a Blue in the city of St. Louis.
I think he really loved his time here. I know he was really good friends with a good friend of mine, Joe Ragney, who was the chicken man behind the penalty box. You probably don't know that story.
I don't.
That's a whole nother show, but he was something else. I know he and Joe were really good friends. Joe was a kind of a crazy man, and he would tell Joe certain things about what was going on in the opposing teams' personal lives, and he'd be yelling at him over the glass because the glass was really low, and they could hear what he was saying and getting them all riled up. But yeah, he does, and I've had him on. I had him as a guest for my cancer foundation, Legends of Hockey. Great guy, but of course it was sad to lose him. Went on and did tremendous things. Just a great coach. But yeah, that's interesting that you were probably got first call from him when you were hired, right?
Yeah, one of them, and he grew up in Montreal as well.
Right.
Played on a couple of different sport teams with my dad. So
really,
yeah, there was a tie-in there.
Wow.
But with the way his path went on, obviously they had fallen apart. But then my uncle was representing some hockey players, and he was close with Scotty Bowman. And anyways, long story short, we worked at the same hockey school, and that's where.
Wow. Beautiful city, beautiful people. A mutual friend of ours, Bob Frederic, once told me he went up there when the Expos were still playing. He goes, Joe, the women are so beautiful up there. The ushers are supermodels. I remember him telling me that. So, and he was right. I went up there and played a couple tournaments with some guys, and it's a wonderful city, very European, and just really enjoyed it. And then you moved on and you went and played college hockey at the University of Maine, played for the Black Bears, and you were off and running your hockey career.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to be able to play college hockey at Maine. played with a great coaching staff. We were filled with a lot of future NHL players.
Yeah.
And when you're around great players, great people, and especially led by a really legendary coach, you start to win a lot. And then, winning becomes addictive. And fortunately, we won it all my senior year, and we had some bum of a freshman named Korea on our team that had 100 points in 39 games. And being around guys like that, you just continually get better and you learn.
Yeah, special player. And you were on the line with him too, weren't you?
Yeah.
And Grant Stanbrook was on that coaching staff, I believe.
Yep, you're right.
John Stanbrook, his son John, now works for the Blues.
Yeah, he's the skating coach for the Blues, and he does a great job with our young players and making them a little bit better in their skating technique. But Grant is the best one-on-one coach I've ever been around.
Really?
Yeah, he just taught everybody things about stick positioning, offensively, defensively, how to release pucks. One of the best skilled coaches I've ever been around.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, John too, great athlete. He and I realized that he and I played in a regional Bantam tournament here in St. Louis. Played for the Madison Capitals. Okay, and there was a girl. They had a girl goaltender. Her name was Sue Mussey. Never forget. She ended up winning the MVP of the tournament. They won the tournament, but she was the MVP. So we kind of reminisce about that deal. But great
pretty
guy.
Cool. I bet Gary Suter might have been on that team.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah.
I think he was. I think John mentioned that. But then, you move on. You go to that great championship game. You win the national championship. You score 3 late game goals to win it.
Yeah, we were down 4-2, and
yeah.
Korea sent me up for 3 empty netters, and for a moment, I was the hero, but he was the guy that led us. We had 2 great goalies in Dunham and Snow too.
Yeah.
And then I signed with the Blues and started my 12-year journey as a journeyman NHL American Hockey League player.
Yep, you were captain of that Maine Black Bear team as well, and won the most outstanding player award, I believe, too. That had to be pretty special.
I mean, the individual award was special, but for us seniors who had lost twice in the Final 8 and once in the Frozen 4 already,
right,
punching our way to a championship was what it was all about. And that was really emotional for us 8 seniors that had been through a lot together and made sure that there was no one straying from the team objective that season.
Right. And then you go on, play for the St. Louis Blues. You get drafted into the NHL, and what was that like, the transition from college player to now NHL? How big of a difference was it at that time?
Yeah, well, it's a big jump.
Big gap, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the players are just so much better.
Right.
You get into training camp, and you got Jeff Brown, Brett Hull, Brendan Shanahan, Craig Janney. I mean, there's all-stars all over, and Curtis Joseph's in nets.
Right.
Not to mention the tougfess we had in Basil McRae and Kelly Chase.
Right.
Garth Butcher.
Got to have those guys.
Yeah.
Back then, Garth Butcher, he kept the room light. Right. Pretty funny guy.
Really funny. A lot of those guys. I mean, the last 3 guys I mentioned, McRae, Chaser, and Butcher were hilarious.
Yeah. Right.
Always had a quick one-liner, and but it was just great to be able to learn from those guys and see what made them all special and why they were great players and whatever their role was on the team.
Yeah, I believe Bob Berry was the coach of that team.
Bob was our coach.
Yeah, and then you moved on back to Montreal, correct?
Yeah.
You were traded for Guy Carbonneau.
Yeah.
What was that like, going back to your hometown, playing at the Forum? That had to be really special. I mean,
walking
the Mecca
in
of hockey, as I call it.
It is. At the time they had 23 Stanley Cups already, and I think they're still at that number.
Yeah, right.
But walking in that locker room where just 12 years before your heroes were winning Stanley Cups, was pretty special. And it's funny, I talked to Bolduc about that because he's went back and he lives an hour outside Montreal. I'm like, set some boundaries with the family and friends on the tickets, or else it's going to cost you a lot.
Yeah, it can get pricey, but that had to be a great experience doing that. And what was it? What was the difference? What would you say the difference is? It had to be with the media and the fan base in Montreal versus the media and the fan base in St. Louis. We're a little bit more laid back, not too, but a lot of pressure in Montreal.
Lots of pressure.
Right.
The media, they're
and lots of it.
Yeah, lots of it. You're going to have 5 television stations, and at that time you had 4 or 5 newspapers, and then you had probably 6 radio stations, and it was every day and it was constant. Luckily for me, I guess I was a role player. I wasn't there very long, so I didn't have to deal with it very long. But if you were Patrick Roy or you're the head coach, you're dealing with it all the time, and you can't get away from it. Doesn't matter where you go. They're there. You're at a golf course, they're there. You're going to go to a restaurant, they're there. Yeah. Doesn't matter. You're going to go to grocery shopping.
Right.
And that's why people love St. Louis, the players, because you can be yourself. And the people in St. Louis, most hockey players, traditionally, not anymore, have been Canadians, and Canadians are like that. They love to be able to converse with people, over a coffee and just be yourself. And that's what St. Louis allows us to be, and that's why so many great alums have stayed here.
Yeah, even Wayne Gretzky, who spends a lot of time here, and I've seen him out and about, and he's pretty much left alone. I mean, people, he may wear a ball cap or something, and people may not recognize him or whatnot, but I've seen him out. But I think it's really neat that he can, especially for a guy like that, he can't go anywhere in Canada, but he can come to St. Louis and pretty much largely be left alone. People, that anonymity is, big for him.
No, you're right. And I mean, we're talking about the greatest player to ever play the game
of all time.
Yeah, and he does. I've been out to dinner with him before here, and it doesn't matter. People are very polite. And what I think people get attracted to in St. Louis is how humble. If Wayne Gretzky's the greatest player ever to play, how humble he is. He'll talk to anybody.
He will talk to anybody.
And that's what I think, the quality and what makes the locker room special in hockey is how humble hockey players are.
Yeah, and he's a role model for everybody else, right? He's such a great ambassador for the game. How to you guys watch how he handles fans coming up. He's got a lot of patience.
He sets the standard. It's a great standard.
Tremendous amount of patience. So it's a special place to play for sure, and why a lot of guys come back and after they're finished playing and make a home here, raise a family, and their kids end up getting into youth hockey or whatever they want to do, and away they go. It's pretty special.
It is. I mean, that alumni room at Centene speaks for itself.
Yeah. You went to Philadelphia, played for the Flyers. There's some pretty good players there. John LeClaire, Lindros, who else? One more fellow. Legion of Doom.
Oh, yeah. Renberg was the right
Michael
winger.
Renberg.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had Eric Desjardins there. I actually was flipping through on one of the social media things, and there was an overtime goal against the Rangers in Game 2. And I was trying to find myself one of the last ones off the bench, going on the ice when we scored. I was one of the first ones off.
Darn, you want to try to get that plus, right?
Yeah. I was just trying to be part of the party.
Part of the deal, part of the party, part of the fun bunch, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you gave him the name. You named him the Legion of Doom, correct? How did you come up? Were you just talking to some reporters one night in the locker room in the corner?
Yeah, that's how it came about. A reporter was asking if they were dominant. They had just gone through like a 5-game stretch where they had something like, as a line, 19 or 21 points. And they were good teams, and they were just so big, strong. Yeah. Like they could go right through you. They didn't have to go around you. Yeah, they'd go right over top of you.
Lindros was 6 foot.
He was a machine.
Everywhere. Yeah, just
huge. A dominant player. The most dominant player in that 4-year stretch there.
Yeah, and then Philadelphia, you went. There was a couple other stops you made. I believe San Jose.
Yeah, I went to San Jose and then ended up in Dallas. People would give me an opportunity, and I would show glimmers of the ability to play, and then they'd quickly figure out I'm better suited for the American League. But all those experience helped shape me to be a better coach, and I'm grateful for the experiences I had all over the place, although I lived in so many different cities, and that wasn't easy, but that's part of the gig.
Part of the deal, right?
It is.
It is part of the deal. I want to ask you a question. Is it more difficult to get into the NHL or more difficult to stay there?
You know what? That's a really good question. I think number-wise, it's harder just to make it. Yeah. But if you're a player and you're there, The tougher deal is to stay there. And, you got to find your role. You got to find your niche.
Right.
And a lot of times for the bubble players, like your 5 through 7 defensemen and your fourth line and extra forwards, a lot of time it comes down to the head coach and what he values there. Is it size? Is it intelligence? Is it defense? Is it offense?
Yeah.
All that plays into it.
Yeah. So you get your playing career starts to wind down. When did you sort of get the notion that you might want to coach? Was it you were sitting on a bench, or maybe you were in the locker room listening to another coach speak, or it's somewhere along the line you had to get an idea in the back of your head that, you know what, maybe that's what I want to do when I'm done playing?
Yeah, believe it or not, when I was in high school,
Really?
Yeah, because I always liked to study why teams won.
Okay.
And what the makeup of the teams look like,
Right.
and how, like, being young and watching Scotty Bowman, how he manipulated his lines in Montreal.
Yeah.
He just thought the game. He was one step ahead, and then when I went to college, I talked about that great staff, and I really learned from them, and they made us all better. Everybody got better because of them.
Right.
And I thought, what a great trait. If you could impact players that way, to make them think about what it is to be a team, but most importantly, also help them become better.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I think that's a good
And
mindset.
I never thought I'd play a day pro. So I fooled people for 12 years. And then it was time to see if, putting the work in and coaching. Everybody thinks they're going to be a coach.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of hours, and you got to have the passion for it. If you don't have the time to work the hours, then it doesn't work. And I did it for 1 year as a volunteer at Notre Dame, and I knew that's what I wanted to do.
What was the difference between winning the national championship as a player at Maine versus winning as a coach at Denver?
It's funny. You feel that both are incredible feelings.
But for different reasons?
Yeah, for different reasons. Like, as a player, we had to overcome a lot of disappointments.
Right.
And we finally achieved it.
Yeah.
When I was at Denver, when I first got there, the team wasn't at a championship level.
Right.
When I got to Maine, we were already there, pretty much.
Right, right.
You
had your work cut out for you.
Yeah. And then it wasn't until my third year at Denver where I was like, okay, we have a chance. And we lost in the Frozen Four that year. North Dakota scored a goal in the last minute off a face-off, and we lost. And then that next year, I knew we were ready, and we just we mowed through it, and we're able to get it done. And I still don't think maybe we had the most talented team, but we had set the culture, and the guys and leadership that year was so much similar to the leadership when I was a player.
Right.
They led by Will Butcher, and we had some studs. We had Trevor Moore.
Related to Garth?
Will Butcher? No, but he's
different.
a Madison Capital.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah. Oh, wow. That's so. Yeah, it's all part of that culture, and you probably instilled that with him. You probably thought back to your playing days, wanted to get that with those guys. Did you take over for George Gwozdecki?
I did.
You did.
George had a tremendous run. Was a great, legendary college hockey coach.
He recruited me to go up to Wisconsin and play. Yeah.
Division III, right? He was,
I forget
River
which
Falls.
team.
River Falls.
Yeah. So, yeah, a little connection there. Yeah, he was, I remember meeting with him. Great guy. You could tell, great hockey mind. But, as it were, before I even stepped on the ice, he had taken the job at Michigan State. So he was off and running. But, great coach. And then you took over after him. And then you get into the NHL as a head coach, Dallas Stars. Tell me a little bit about that, getting back to the show, as they say, but now you're a bench boss.
Yeah, I didn't get into coaching the NHL. I got into coaching because I loved interacting with players, and I did it at the junior level, I did it at the college level.
Yeah.
And, the decision to leave for Emily and I, my wife, with our young family, it wasn't easy. Denver was a great place to live. We had a really good life. And I knew that I could be at Denver for a long time and have success.
Sure. Yeah.
I knew that I was bored isn't the right. I wasn't as challenged as I thought I would be anymore.
Right.
And I didn't want to get comfortable, because if you get comfortable,
Yeah.
you sometimes in life, a lot of people get comfortable. They stop working as hard as they should.
Right.
And I knew the NHL was the ultimate, and it was either time to go or not go. And Dallas set ourselves up. We thought family-wise it'd be very similar lifestyle to Denver.
Sure.
So it was time to go.
How did it come about? Who approached you? How did your name get thrown in the hat?
Well, it had been, I think, the third summer where
Okay.
one or two teams had reached out. And I know the year before it didn't help our recruiting.
Right.
So right away when they called, I was like, we got to get this going. If we're going to do it, I want to know within 1 to 2 weeks if I'm your guy or not.
Right.
And no hurt feelings if I'm not.
Right.
And it just happened real quick, and it worked out. Jim Nill was very persuasive, and Dallas had a couple of superstars.
Yep.
So it was like, okay, this could be a real good fit.
Yeah, Jim Nill, former St. Louis Blue. Remember watching him play?
Met his wife here.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yep.
He's married a St. Louis girl. So you had that in common. Yeah. And then, so what was it like? You had some superstars. What was it like? Jamie Benn. I mean, I really admire him as a player. All the things he can do. Talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, Jamie Benn, great captain. Very fortunate. My first opportunity to be in the NHL, to work with someone who commanded the room and had great respect, was clearly our leader. Our team was just about average, like talent-wise. They weren't at the level. Jim Nill hadn't been there long enough to put in his work with the draft picks and everything.
Right.
And, like you see them now, like in the last 3 to whatever.
Yeah.
They have so many first-round picks coming, and they have the veteran players and so on and so forth. So we did find a way to get into the playoffs that year. We made a late charge. And then, we surprised Nashville in the first round, and we lost in Game 7. My buddy Patty Maroon ruined our season.
Against his buddy, Benny Bishop.
Yep.
So
there was a lot of ties.
Boy.
A lot of ties
there
in that
was,
series.
Yeah. Tyler Sagan, another great player,
Yep.
was there, and probably good to coach him. And then guess what? The St. Louis Blues come calling, and you're back in St. Louis. What was that like? I mean, you're just to get back into the
like
fold.
sometimes things happen in your life, and you're like,
absolutely,
wow,
yeah,
how lucky. We had moved as a family back to St. Louis. I'd sold my house in Dallas, and a position became available as an assistant coach, and I got a phone call from Doug Armstrong.
Yeah.
And, spoke with him, and then the next day I spoke with Chief, and
yeah.
before you know it, I'm a Blue again, and very fortunate, because to be able to work around great people.
Yeah.
And I say, and those people are still here, some of them.
Yeah.
Besides Chief.
Yeah.
But I got to work with Steve Ott and David Alexander here.
Sure.
So I knew when the opportunity came again that not only were the players talented, but the staff was talented.
Right.
So the first go around allowed me to become the head coach of the Boston Bruins.
It did.
And allowed me to get better. And then I came back, and I think I'm better again, and I knew that there was great people to work with.
What was your role with the Blues as an assistant, or were you an associate coach or assistant?
No, I was just an assistant coach.
Just assistant coach. And what aspects of the game did you handle?
My responsibilities was, along with Steve Ott, we would help the forwards.
Okay.
With whatever forwards would, like, watch video, try and make them individually and lines better.
Yeah.
And then the first year, I was in charge of the power play, and Steve Ott was the penalty kill, and then we flopped the next year. And the second year was when we had a really good run. I think we had 109 points and lost in 6 games to Colorado in the second round.
Yeah.
They won the cup that year.
Yeah. So you were around some great guys. A great way to get back into it. And two great guys, right? Doug Armstrong and Craig Berube, who I know I know both men.
Great men.
Pretty well. Just great guys. Mm-hmm. Enjoyed seeing Chief come into the coffee shop in the morning and shoot the breeze with him a little bit. Army would come in once in a while, maybe have a little, sit down with a player once. I don't know, what that was all about. Maybe straighten somebody out a little bit, or maybe re-sign him or whatever. But saw Chief there a lot, and just a great guy. Was always gracious enough to, stop, say hi to all the guys in the coffee group, and be on his way probably down to the rink for a morning skate. But yeah, you had a great core there, but just great people in the St. Louis Blues organization all the way around. Just front office people.
Yeah, the Blues are run right. You got Mr. Stillman spearheads that. And I always talk about great organization starts at the top and it filters down. And the people at the top, when they're humble, like Mr. Stillman, and
great guy.
The other owners that are very silent around town, but they support us in tremendous ways. And then we have, Mr. Zimmerman's our president, and then the hockey side is, that's the part I deal with. I know the business side does a great job, but I don't know how and why they do it. I just know they do it. But to work with Doug Armstrong, and now you have Steiner in the fold, and everybody else that's around, and then the leadership we have. Like, I really saw that last year, and I'm excited. I can't wait to get started this.
And a great alumni association too, which you're a part of. Those are good guys to have around, right?
Proud to be a part of, and and that's spearheaded. It was Bruce Affleck retired. BA, such a great man,
great guy.
And now it's, Barrett Jackman's taking over.
Oh, he is? Yeah. Oh, good. He's perfect for that job. That's great.
He's great. He's a great ambassador for the Blues and the city. He embodies what it is to be a Blue. Yeah. And him and I, we both have 16-year-old sons that play on Blues AAA.
Oh, really? Okay, so you got that in common.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. We're going to be right back to the Supper Club right after these messages. Kuna Food Service, providing quality food to people across the Midwest, is part of our rich history at Kuna, because food brings people together. We specialize in having a large variety of food products and food supplies, catering to an array of businesses that turn to us. Kuna Food Service, a family-owned tradition since 1918. Oliva on the Hill, it's Italy in the city. With exquisite old-world charm, this ideal setting is perfect for your next special event, wedding, just having lunch, or enjoying Wine Down Wednesday and the Antique Market. Check it out, olivaonthehill.com. Lordo's Diamonds, your family's jeweler for life. Family owned and operated for over 70 years, specializing in engagement rings, fashion jewelry, gemstones, and in-house jewelry repair. Relaxed, friendly atmosphere, competitive pricing, and a selection second to none. Conveniently located just west of the Galleria on Clayton Road. Lordo's Diamonds, your family's jeweler for life. LordosDiamonds.com. Go Fresta for Fresta Limoncello. My handcrafted small batch citrus liqueur is perfect for sipping or pouring in a cocktail. All natural, gluten-free, Fresta Limoncello is sold at Schnucks, Dierberg's, Straub's, Total Wine, and local restaurants. Fresta Limoncello. Keep sipping, my friends. Welcome back to the Supper Club. I'm Joe Fresta, brought to you by Kuna Food Service. We're here with Jim Montgomery, head coach of the St. Louis Blues. So we're going to go right back into it. 2022, Bruce Cassidy gets let go from the Bruins, and you get an opportunity to become a head coach once again. Take us through that whole scenario, how that all came to be, and what was to follow.
Yeah, it's oddly enough, I had spoken with a couple of other teams that had vacancies.
Oh, really?
And it's funny, you get calls, and sometimes you just feel like you might be the guy. Like you might be the number one candidate. Yeah. And I felt that from the first phone call with the Bruins. Without the help of Doug Armstrong, I don't think I become the head coach of the Boston Bruins. And it was a great opportunity. And every time you go into a new situation, you learn. And you gotta really, when you learn things from being around great people, and this Patrice Bergeron is a special human being. And the Bruins were great for a long time, and I can see that they were great for a long time because of the values that he instilled in everybody else. I know that Zdeno Chara was there and helped set the standard, but I didn't see that because I wasn't around it.
You weren't there.
And then you had Brad Marchand underneath him, and then David Pasternak, and it was their best players were their hardest workers. Their best players were their best teammates.
Right.
And it was something where, as a coach, you always think as a coach your job is to coach. Like you give the guys the plan.
Yeah.
But that's not usually the case.
No.
Usually you've got to do a lot of work with the people in the room. In Boston, that was the case. You just gave them a plan, and those guys made sure that
they were kind of your
still...
co-coaches, maybe, you know, with Bergeron in there.
Well,
right?
they ran the room.
They ran the room.
I didn't have to worry about
right.
the room.
Yeah, kind of like the old. You talk about Scotty Bowman. They talk about how, you know, Stevie Yzerman. He had his office in the locker room or in the dressing room, and Scotty had his office, and Steve was kind of the liaison, right, between the two of them. You probably had that same situation in Boston.
Yeah, very similar. I do think Scotty Bowman had to work that till it got to the point where him and Steve were like that.
Yeah.
With Patrice Bergeron, you know, I think Claude Julien, my current assistant, had a lot to do with shaping that. It was a
turnkey deal.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and so it was, but, you know, we had a special season. You know, we set records, and it was unbelievable to watch how efficient and how well we played in every situation. It didn't matter the type of game. We had great goalies. We had great decor, and we just had great leadership.
Two great goalies. Two good goalies. Yeah, I remember that. And, of course, you set records for most wins, most points, President's Trophy. You win the Jack Adams, best coach in the league. I mean, it was
it was storybook until we lost the first round.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, the first round of playoffs is the Wild Wild West. You know, we clearly did a couple of things wrong. But the biggest thing is when you have a season like that, it's when you face adversity. Yeah. You don't handle it well because you hadn't really faced adversity. And we didn't handle it well.
Yeah.
You know, and so we learned from that. And second season was really good. I think we way overachieved with the loss of Bergeron and Krejci as our top two centers, plus a lot of other players.
Yeah.
People didn't expect us, but, you know, I think we had an 109-point season. And, won one round, lost to Florida, who now won the Cup for the first time.
Right. And they had quite a run as well. And so Doug was did he reference you? Did he give you a reference to go there? Or did he
well, him
make
and Don
a phone
Sweeney
call for you? Or?
Well, he's the one that alerted me that, you know, Boston would be calling because they contacted him. That's the way it works.
Yeah, sure.
They got to contact the team, the interest.
Right.
And, you know, Don Sweeney works with him. You know, they're part of that staff, along with Jim Niltu, for Hockey Canada. They're going to be in the Olympics. And so they knew, and I think Doug felt that, you know, with his words of encouragement, I'm certain, it got me that opportunity.
Yeah. So you go back, you're at another original six team, lots of tradition, lots of Stanley Cups, much like going back to Montreal. Did you get to talk about an alumni? Did you spend much time with Bobby Orr? Did you get to meet him at all?
I did, yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. I got to play golf with him a couple of times.
Did you really? I know he loves to play golf.
Spent some time with him, and just again, Wayne Gretzky, greatest forward ever. He's the greatest defenseman ever. And again, so humble.
Yeah.
I loved being around our players.
Yeah, right.
Loved being a Bruin. And it was neat when you travel as part of an original six team. You go into Winnipeg, half the crowd's Bruins fans because of Bobby Orr.
Oh, really?
It's all because of Bobby Orr.
Because he's from there.
No, it's because he was...
Parry Sound, was he from?
He's from, that's Ontario. Yeah. But it didn't matter. You go...
Yeah, but he's Mr. Canada, just like Wayne is, right?
Yeah, and it's just the impact he had. He changed the game.
Oh, he did. And no question about it.
Yep, and that carries a lot of weight. Like, he was so poetic on ice with how beautiful of a player he was that didn't matter what part of Canada or Bruins fans have gone all over the place.
Yeah.
We go to Florida... half the place is Bruins fans.
Yeah, you got the snowbirds down there, right?
Yeah, and you meet them afterwards, and it's like, I'm a Bruins fan because my grandfather loved Bobby Orr. It's like, it's amazing the impact he had on the game.
And why wouldn't you love Bobby Orr? I think everybody did. Even if you weren't not lived in Boston or whatever, you had to appreciate what he did throughout the 70s. I remember my dad started taking me to Blues games, and that's when he started coming in, and we'd go and, you know, when the Bruins would come to town and he was out there, it was just like he was on he was on a different planet, you know.
Yeah.
I should just gave him the other guys another puck to play with while he played with the other
that's true. No one dominated the game more than he did.
Yeah.
As far as having the puck and impacting it.
How about Derek Sanderson? Did you ever get a chance to meet him at all, spend some time with him? He's another fascinating guy.
Yeah, I did. He came. He would come around, especially at we had the 100-year celebration of the Bruins, and he came around a couple of times. And what a character! What a funny man!
Oh yeah,
legendary storyteller.
I've spoke with him on the phone several times. Great guy. Boston through and through. Tried to get him to come and, do my event for my cancer foundation, my Legends dinner. No, I work for the Bruins, So anyway, but great guy, great stories.
Yep.
He would. Gary Unger tells a story that when he played here in St. Louis, Gary liked to go to Chris's on Lindbergh to get a big prime rib, and the both of them would go, and Derek would order a big prime rib. Gary would order a big prime rib. But Derek was too busy running around, talking to people, having a cocktail over here, talking to this guy. Gary'd end up getting 2 prime ribs that night. He told me that story. That was pretty funny. But, just wrote a great book.
Yep, he did.
Crossing the Line. I don't know if you got to read it. Tremendous book. If anybody gets a chance, read it. But, so then... it's funny how things turn, right? You do all these great things, and then, man, now you're out. You're out as coach of the Bruins, but before that, you got the coach of St. Louis, and Trent Frederic.
Yes, when I got to St. Louis, Trent had established himself as a Bruin, but had not established himself as what's his role on the team.
Right.
And for 2 years. 2 years and a bit until I was let go. I think Trent had his most successful seasons. He knew what he was in the NHL, became a tremendous power forward for us. I could move him up to the first or second line, but ideally the third line, him and Charlie Coyle were a dominant third line for us. And he did a lot of great things for us. He had a couple of, I think he had an 18 and 19 goal season. And good for him. The great contract he got for Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, yes, he did. Yeah, he did. Good for him. Son of a mutual friend of ours, Bob Frederic. Great guy. But,
great family.
Great family.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew his father, Gene. It was great guy, great man, MAC guy. You see him all the time. Just a gentleman. And then Trent, I remember watching him play for the first time. And the first thing I noticed is the way he skated. Just a beautiful skater.
Yep.
But he did everything else too. You could tell he was trying to do very coachable guy. He'd fight. He could score some goals, make some plays, but he really wasn't getting that much playing time until you come in and you sort of found a footprint for him to really kind of dig in and sink his teeth into and really become that player you just talked about.
Yeah, I think, it takes a while, like you talked about. Is it harder, to stay in the league?
Yeah.
And he has so many attributes that make him so valuable to a team. And you said them, he's got the physical tools. He's coachable. He wants to get better. He spends incredible amount of time pre-post practice working on his skills and continuing to get better. And he's a great team player too. He thinks about the team. He's a great teammate.
Yeah.
His teammates love him. And I'm just really happy for him.
Oh yeah.
That he's established himself. He knows who he is, and but he's a Western Conference foe now. So
yeah. Yeah, I remember I would run into Bob's sister and her husband, and I remember we were talking. I said, "Let me tell you something." I said, and he was just getting in there, and I thought, you know what, your nephew, he is the real deal, and I'm not just telling you that because I know you got he's going to be something in this league. I could just tell, and I'm really, I've never met him personally, but I'm really happy for him, his family, Bob, his wife, and I know how excited he was when he went to that first game. There's that crazy video.
Yeah, no.
But just really, really a cool St. Louis story. And then, of course, you get let go from the Bruins, and then the Blues come calling.
Yeah, it was a whirlwind in my personal life, because when you get let go, it's just normal.
Right.
People go through it in life, and life is not a steady ramp up. We all know that.
No, it's not.
That journey of dips and stuff.
That's
they
right.
Make you better.
Peaks and valleys.
Yeah. And you're let go, and then a couple of days later you get a phone call, and your mind's not My mind wasn't ready.
Yeah.
But, once you start talking, and then later your mind starts to think about it, and it's like, well, here's an opportunity to get back to St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful for my family.
You're right. Right.
This is home for us. My wife's from St. Louis.
I know it is.
And one of our 4 children was born here, but most importantly, all 4 children have great friends here. So coming back here was an absolute home run. And the pleasant surprise was, and, Army had said this when we were speaking, that we think this team's much better than what it's showing. Mm-hmm. And when I got here, I quickly saw how good we could be. And it took us a little longer than we all expected. And that's normally part of the process, is you're going to have, it's not going to be a well-oiled machine, because it wasn't a well-oiled machine.
No,
it takes a while.
No, it wasn't.
And we got there. And now, it was a great run. We had fun, but that's last year. Now we got to work hard and do all the little things we did to be a really good team from the start. And training camp's going to be really important for us, and we're all aware of that. The captains are aware of how hard we need to work and push each other to be better.
Yep, Drew Bannister was let go. Of course, you had taken his place. I remember when that happened, we were sitting around with my father and all the boys at the coffee shop, and I said, "You watch, Monty's going to be behind that Blues bench within the week." And they said, "What? What are you talking about?" I said, "You just watch." Because you know what, you may agree with me, disagree, but I think you were Doug Armstrong's first choice all along. I think if he had his druthers, he would have had you replace Chief right away, I think. That's just my personal opinion.
I mean, you'd have to ask him that question.
Yeah.
I just know that, for whatever reason, it worked out. There's a reason that I didn't sign an extension in Boston.
Right.
I didn't know it at the time, but boy, I'm happy I didn't sign that extension.
Right.
They wouldn't have fired me if I had 3 years left on my deal. And not that I wanted to leave Boston, but it just, this opportunity has been such a blessing.
Would you characterize yourself as a player's coach? You hear that moniker bannered around a lot in professional sports.
Yeah, I think that's the way I'm described. So perception is reality, and that's what the players feel.
Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah, and
as a spectator,
for me, I don't care about the way I'm described as a coach.
Right.
The fact that the players think that they have an ability to come in and communicate with me. I think communication is the number one attribute of a healthy culture. And them being able to come in and say good or bad what they're thinking, but also I can say good or bad what I'm thinking about their personal play, their line play, how they're impacting others. Yeah. That's what makes it an opportunity where we're going to have hard conversations. We're going to have easy conversations, but those conversations matter to where we want to go.
Open door policy?
Yeah. But the open door policy, everybody talks about my door's always open.
Yeah.
But players don't feel comfortable coming through your door. So I think a big part of it is you got to get outside your door and you got to bring them in your door.
Yeah.
And then over time, they'll know.
Is Braden Shen maybe the liaison, maybe a little bit?
Oh,
kind of like
sure
we talked about with Steve Yzerman and Scotty Bowman. A little bit.
Braden Shen, what he did last year, I can't speak enough about how he impacted and made my job. And I guess together, I think we worked a lot and communicated a lot. There was a lot of phone calls. On the car ride that him and I spoke, and or he calling me during the day, that because we struggled for a while, and struggle is good. People underestimate how important struggling is. You struggle together and you overcome it. There's a bond that comes, and it's not just Braden Shen. Robert Thomas, Parayko, and Falk had a lot to do with it. But number one is I always call my captain first, and he loves being the captain of the Blues.
He embodies everything that a captain should be, right?
He does.
Veteran player will do it. He can score goals. He can make plays. He'll drop the gloves. I mean, guy will do anything. Probably, again, one of the more harder workers on the ice, right?
He's going to do anything to try and win.
Leads by example. If there's two different types, he probably does both. he probably leads by example, and then I'm not, but I bet he's not afraid to get up and stand in the middle of the locker room and start.
Not at all. And he's not afraid to put his arm around a teammate either.
Yeah, right.
When they need to,
it's
a little
great.
boost. No,
kind of like Bergeron a little bit, maybe a little. Are they a little different or?
Well, very
same?
similar. Very similar. I think everybody has to be themselves, and that's the number one thing. Yeah. Braden Shen is himself. He's comfortable in his skin.
Yeah.
That's why he's a captain. It's the same thing. Like Patrice Bergeron had a couple of traits that made him different. Mm-hmm. But again, comfortable in his skin. When Braden Shen talks, he speaks from the heart. That's why the players follow him.
Right.
Bergeron did the same thing.
What was the expectation coming in mid-season like that? What were your just some short-term goals you kind of just wanted to kind of get into the rhythm?
The number one thing was to get in here and get the players believing in themselves.
Right.
You could tell that there was hope, but there wasn't confidence.
Right.
And we had to build the confidence. And then the second thing, was getting them to play as a team.
Yeah.
I felt coaching against them. I'd already coached twice against the Blues. I had felt that they were a team of individuals. And it took a while for us to become a team.
Right. So this year, those different. You had an entire off season. You got a lot of runway going into training camp. What are your expectations? What did you think about in the summer? Things you might want to accomplish with a full season ahead of you, full slate.
Yeah, we're still the things I've been thinking about. I'm still thinking about them because we don't start for another month.
Right.
Now, that being said, I know the direction we're going in.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of conversations. With Army, with Steiner, and then with coaches, but there's been a lot of conversations with all the players on the phone. And for us, it's about coming in and having a great camp, getting off to a great start. But there's a why and a how to that.
Sure.
But the most important thing that I want our team to be really good at is game management. That's an area where it got good, but it wasn't as good as it should be. I want us to be very effective and execute at a high level in all situations.
Right.
Protecting a lead, coming from behind, starting games, closing games. Everyone looks at special teams, and they're huge. We got to be good in the power play, got to be good in the penalty kill. But it's all those situations. Understanding, okay, we're up by 2, and it's the last 5 minutes of the second. There was times where we gave up 3 2-on-1s on the power play. We're up by 2 in the second period.
Then there's a 3-goal lead, worst lead in hockey, right? 3-goal lead.
Exactly. And those situations is where, as a team, we mature now. And it's something that I think the pain of the Game 7 loss to Winnipeg is going to linger in us, and it's going to motivate us and drive us.
That was a tough one, man. Because who knows? I mean, I think you would have beat Dallas, I think.
Who knows? I think it would have been, Well, I appreciate the confidence.
Yeah,
too.
no, seriously. If you just got over that hump,
and it could have been.
Yeah,
we could have.
Absolutely. You don't know what happens.
Yeah, you don't know
Vinner
what
was
happens.
playing really well,
Vinner was playing great.
Talk about him a little bit. He's, we haven't really gotten into that. We talked about Braden Shen, but he's got to be a leader in that locker room too, in a lot of different ways.
No question, he's a
fiery
leader.
Guy. You got to love that, right?
Yep, he's got quiet confidence to him.
Yep.
He's got natural swagger that gives team the confidence. Fiery intensity that he has really matured. His compete level's off the charts. But his intelligence is underrated. I don't think people realize how smart of an athlete he is. And his ability to raise his level in big moments. Everybody understands it, but his teammates can learn from it.
Everybody throughout the hockey world has seen it.
Yes.
I mean,
he's done it on the biggest stages. So.
Yeah, and you see it in the playoffs. I mean, he just takes his game to a whole nother level. He's so dialed in, and it's really remarkable to watch, So glad he's still in the Blues uniform. It's all I can say. Yeah.
So are we.
Yeah, I'll bet you are. Because it all starts. Hey, you got it. Playoffs is all about. A lot of it's about goaltending. Everybody knows that.
Well, it's just like the regular season. Like, we got 2 great goalies. There's not going to be a night where we don't have a elite goaltender in the nets, and that sets you up for success.
I want to ask you, what do you think? What are the differences between players back in the '90s when you played versus the players that you're coaching today? Big difference, I would
There is a big difference.
say. Yeah.
I think players back in the 90s had bigger egos because back then, like my first locker room I walk in, there's Brendan Shanahan, there's, Brett Hull. Brett Hull is a big personality.
Yeah, he is. Very big. Yeah.
I think it's easier for people to go into locker rooms now. And
was Chris on that team, Pronger? Was
no.
he?
No,
Not yet.
No.
Okay.
He was.
That's right. Good. Shanahan was there.
Yeah, he might have been the second trade.
Yeah.
But now players ruled the dressing room more back then, and it was harder maybe to become a part of the team.
Right.
But you were quick. You knew exactly like where you were and like.
You knew your place.
You knew your place. Now, I think players, and it's just part of society has become this way because of phones. And not that, like, I use my phone just as much as anybody that's young.
Right,
We all do.
right.
We all say that it's this generation, but
Yeah.
they don't communicate as much to each other. Hard
Right.
conversations don't happen.
Right.
Arguments don't happen as often. Like,
Face to face.
players used to argue all the time in the dressing room every
right.
day.
I'll bet.
That doesn't happen as often. So, dealing with each other has become different, and the players don't have the ego. So there's a positive and a negative to everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, now, as players mature, like Braden Shen doesn't have a problem communicating with anybody.
Right. Right.
And what we need is that next layer of players, the Thomases, the Kairos, the Holloways, the Neighbors, all those guys start communicating with each other at that level. But they do it in a much more professional way now.
Right.
A lot less F-bombs.
Right. A lot less F-bombs. But the other thing, too, the training, the nutrition, all that stuff.
Oh, these players are way better athletes
It's so
than they used to
different.
be. They come, they're so well prepared. Physically, they're well prepared. And I do think, it doesn't matter the maturation process for any players. But when I talk about that game management, that's something that's learned. Mm-hmm. Brett Hull didn't know how to manage games when he first came into the league.
No, he didn't.
And that's something.
Until he went to Dallas, the hitch kind of said, "Hey, big boy, you gotta play both ends of the ice. You gotta."
Yeah, and not only that, but he had
He'd probably be the first one to tell you that too.
He had Mike Keane, Guy Carbonneau, he had Craig Ludwig, he had a lot of players there, Scrudlin.
Yeah,
guys
Hatcher.
that won cups in Montreal, won cups in other teams.
Right.
That were like, you're here to score goals.
Yeah, right.
You
Yeah.
help us win.
Yeah, he wasn't the only star anymore.
That's
when
right.
he went to
Yeah.
Dallas, and I think that was probably the best thing that ever happened to him for his career.
Well, he won
really.
a cup, so
and he won a cup.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, everything
why we
happens
play.
for a reason.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a player. You're right. They are points taken, so much different ways. The cell phones thing. I mean, Holly was talking one time, and he said, today, just players going out at night, it's a little bit more controlled. They go maybe get a private room somewhere, dinner, and back to the hotel. Holly would tell you, man, it was before cell phones. We were out doing whatever. You can't do that anymore. So there's a little more focused, a little more, drilled down on what you need to do. Get back to the hotel, play the game the next day, and get on a plane and get out of town.
Well, there is. I mean, it just it's society the way it is, and there's nothing you're going to do to change it. You can walk into any place and someone can take their phone and take a picture of you. That's just the way the world works now.
Favorite coach that you maybe pattern your style after? Maybe a couple of them. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably a combination, but I would say that number one is Sean Walsh. He impacted me the most as a head coach. I probably spent the most time with him too, 4 years. So People don't know about it. A legendary coach. That,
Yep.
he would have had great success if he was in the NHL. Unfortunately, passed at 48 with cancer, so I never got the ability to work with him.
Wow.
But there's Hitchcock. There's so many different coaches that I was around that I took a little bit from.
You take pieces from
Yeah.
and build your own style.
You got to have your own.
You do.
I don't want to use the word brand, but you got to have your own style. You got to have your own beliefs,
Approach.
and you got to be yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. 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 It's interesting. Yeah. It's what you got to do. You take pieces as you go. You're as a player, as an assistant coach. You're moving on up the line, and maybe you learn from guys that are your assistants too, under you.
Oh,
a bit.
absolutely.
I mean,
you hire people that make you better, and I have that here on my staff in St. Louis.
all right, player, past or present, that you'd love to coach, past or present.
Yeah. God, that's a great question. Okay, Al McInnes and Chris Pronger come to mind right away.
Yeah.
Love to coach them.
Yeah.
Not because they're just so talented, but, their ability to make others better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And their weapons to have.
Yeah. A few different weapons.
They come to mind right away as past players. Present players, I'm fortunate with the players I have right now that I can see the potential just becoming more and more as a group and watching them blossom. I'm going to leave it at that because you don't know the players that the other players in the league. You don't know them, so you just you think you'd want to coach Crosby, Ovechkin, but it ain't happening. So
Right. Maybe Mario Lemieux. I don't know. What about Connor McDavid? I mean, that guy. Talk about him a little bit, just as from an opposing coach.
He's great for the game.
He's a remarkable player. I mean, it's amazing. The things he can do at the speed at which he does it at is just absolutely phenomenal.
It is. I mean, he just does things that you don't see, and every day he's doing something new. And obviously he's a guy that drives the culture in Edmonton, and there's a reason why they've been in the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row.
Yeah. I'm going to name a few names, and you just give me a few thoughts on these folks. Paul Kariya.
Outstanding person, and probably the one person that every time I talk to, I learn something new.
Yeah. What's he doing now?
He is out in Anaheim. He surfs probably 4 to 5 times a day, a week, and just does a lot of charity work that people don't know that he does.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. I got a place in my heart for that. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
Scott Mellenby.
Great loyal friend.
Yeah.
Just an outstanding husband and father, and a big part of the Blues management staff.
Yeah. Great guy.
Great guy.
I met him through you, years ago. Just a good guy, and see him around town from time to time. I know he went up and worked for Montreal for a little bit, didn't he? And then, but was he always living here? I don't know if he moved, if they all moved up.
Well, he has a big house in Wisconsin now.
Oh, he does?
Primarily, that's where he stays.
All right. Craig Berube.
Man, wonderful person. Underrated how great of a person he is.
Yeah.
And caring,
Yeah.
Because he's this big brute of a man. And he
he is.
But he really cares about people that he's worked with and played with. And, I think him and Mellenby and Tocchet went on a big golf trip together there.
Really?
Yeah, just and a guy that I'm very thankful that I got to learn from.
Yeah, right. Doug Armstrong.
Incredible, tireless worker that I know just for myself. He's the one that gave me the second chance to get back in the league.
Yeah.
But not only that, he's made me better. Like, he continues to this day. He knows how to push you and pull you into directions to make you a better coach or dad, or doesn't matter. Like, he cares about the well-rounded person.
Yeah. And I'm going to give you one more name, not a hockey guy, Mike Smallwood.
Ha! Wood, my closest friend. you know.
Yeah, I know.
Someone that, you know, we probably have lunch together 3 days a week in the summertime, and you know, probably 2 calls a day or whatever. You know, you call this the supper club. When I was living with my mother-in-law, me, him, and my mother-in-law, I joked that we're a supper club. And we started having the supper clubs the night before the games at home of the streak.
Oh, really?
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you married a St. Louis girl, Emily, and you two both have 4 children. Talk about them a little bit.
Yeah, Emily's a wonderful woman, a Koryezu girl that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that I was fortunate enough to get to marry me, and we have JP is our oldest. He's 16, and then we have Colin is 14, and he's a freshman. Starting today at this.
Really? Oh, today's first day.
First day. And then we have our 2 daughters. Ava's 10, Olivia's 7. They're at St. Gerard.
Yeah, boys playing hockey, girls playing any sports, or
both boys play hockey. The girls, both are into dance.
Nice.
Yeah, good dancers too. Not as good as Dad, but you know, it's okay.
Well, you could be on Dancing with the Stars, maybe. We could sign you up. For that.
Don't sign me up for anything like that. Jesus. Embarrass myself.
Who did it? Didn't Holly do that? I think Holly did.
Did he
dance some kind of?
I know Kelly Chase did.
Kelly did that.
Did the ice skating one.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, great family you got. St. Louis, and you're a St. Louisan. I mean, what?
I am. St. Louis is home. Yeah. It's easy to say that now.
Yeah. Favorite restaurant in St. Louis?
Oh, people love asking this question.
Well, we're a foodie town, big boy.
Well, I've got a lot. You know, my favorite pizza place is Vito's Pizzeria.
Yep.
I'm going for Italian. I'm going Cafe Napoli.
Okay.
And if I'm going for steak, my new steak place is Twisted Tree.
Oh, love it. Yeah.
Yep.
Had Tyler Layton on the show once, the head chef at Twisted Tree.
Good man.
Great guy. Great guy. Cut his teeth at Trattoria Marcella. Another great restaurant.
Great restaurant.
Yep.
I haven't been there in a while.
Yep. And then favorite restaurant on the road.
Oh.
Heard there's a great Italian restaurant in Toronto. Somebody, Blake Ahern was talking about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of good restaurants in Toronto. I mean, favorite restaurant on the road, if I had to say one.
Pick 2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, God, I just went to New York City, and for the first time I'm forgetting the name of it right now, the famous Italian spot, and it was great. I felt like I was a wise guy.
Did you really?
But it's, why can't I think of the name of it? Carbone's.
Carbone's. Yeah. Like the guy in Goodfellas, Carbone.
Yeah.
You find him hanging in a freezer.
Yeah. Great movie, though. What a great movie.
Yeah, Goodfellas. Yeah, you know, I had one of the actors in town, and actually I had the event at this venue, the building over there. He played the young Ray Liotta in Goodfellas.
The boy. Yeah.
And I did a really neat dinner deal with him, and raised a lot of money for my cancer foundation. So there's a little plug and play for Goodfellas and Carbone. You know? So, well, anyway, we're going to wrap this up, buddy. Good luck to you this year. Have a great season, and thanks for being on the Supper
Joe.
Club.
Appreciate it.
All right, you got it, buddy. The Supper Club, brought to you by Kuna Food Service, a family-owned tradition since 1918. The Pasta House Company Restaurants. Lordo's Diamonds, your family jeweler for life. Oliva on the Hill. Barquette Realty, nationwide real estate investor. And Fresta Limoncello. Keep sipping, my friends.
Winning the Hobie Baker Trophy, a centering pass, a score! Back we go the other way, a 3-on-2 developing for the Black Bears, trailing by a goal. Chris Imes losing it in front. Pass just can't connect, and a couple of competitors go burying the board, and a score! Maine has tied it up! Those Lake State a little bit on their heels now.
Absolutely, and that's what happens when the momentum turns. Missed the ball, goes the other way.
Ball Correa breaking in, look at him, he scores! Sets up his best friend, Jim Montgomery, and Maine is back in the lead. Good attackers on Smith, throws it in, Snow is down, the rebound is loose. The rebound, in the slot, the shot. Oh my, he missed it. Taylor missed it, open net, and Maine has. Shaw seconds, 5 seconds. One more shot, maybe. Maine is going to win their first ever national championship.